Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Shar Styles Curls. So today is a long awaited video. I'm going to be showing you how I style my clients' curly hair. Right now I'm just showing you her before. I always tell my clients to come in with minimal to no product and dry hair. And that is exactly what she did, although her hair is a little bit wet, but that's okay. So if you want the nitty gritty details on how to achieve the most flawless, bouncy, fluffy, and defined curls, stay tuned and let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about and discuss about styling your curly hair is how your hair condition is before starting. So in lots of my shorts videos that you guys see and lots of my long videos that you guys see where my clients have these flawless curls, a lot of the times, or actually all of the times, I'm just going to say all the time, we cut their hair first. So the reason that their hair is sitting so nice and so layered and so pretty and round or oval or voluminous is because of the haircut that we give them before. So if you have a one length haircut with no layers, no texturizing or anything in there, your results are going to be a lot more different. For example, your curls might not just sit as high or have as much volume. Your hair might look a little boxy, or in some cases, lots of my clients complain about the pyramid shape, that really grown out shape that just kind of makes your hair look like a triangle. That can happen as well. You can still get defined curls, of course. It's just how they sit and how they look will be a lot different than how my client's hair looks and how their hair sits. So when you're styling your curly hair, please keep in mind, and when you're trying to match the results to my clients, for example, please keep in mind that your hair may not come out the same because you don't have the same haircut as them. The haircut is, I would say, 70% of the look, and then the styling is about 30%. So if you want really beautiful shaped curls, you really need to get a haircut or a curly cut that suits your curls, and then you can start styling your hair and get those results that you want. So the number one tip that I can give you is to please find a curly hairstylist to do your hair, guys. This will change your life. A lot of my clients have never seen their curls at their full potential, shaped correctly, sitting properly, and bouncy, perfect, all of that. So when you go to a curly hairstylist, they know exactly what to do. They know exactly how to treat your hair. They know exactly what layers to put in and how the face framing works and all of that. So please put your trust in a curly stylist. When looking for a curly stylist though, always use Instagram, okay? I'm not gonna lie, Instagram is the number one way to find a hairstylist these days. If their pictures do not match the looks that you're going for, don't go to them. It's really important to find a hairstylist that does looks regularly that you want to wear, okay? Sometimes I'll get clients that want these like super funky looks, which I love to do. And, I love to do different things, but I do have a certain way that I cut hair and I do have a certain way that I style curls. So if that's not something or a way that you like it, then try and find someone that does it the way that you like it. And I feel like I just have to make a disclaimer here because my voice from the beginning of this video has changed so much to the middle. Obviously I started this voiceover a couple days ago and I got sick in that couple days. Sorry, every time I laugh, I have like a cough attack. But anyways, we are getting better. I woke up feeling a lot better than I did yesterday. So that's amazing. So now I really want to get into the topic of products. Products is probably the number one thing that I get asked about in my chair. What products do I use? What products do I use? What brand? What type of products? Gel, cream, mousse? There's just so many, right? There's just so many products. Here's where we can start. First of all, don't use any products from Shoppers. Don't use any products from Walmart. Those products are not good quality products, okay? I literally have seen products in Walmart and Shoppers say sulfate free, and then the first ingredient on the back says sulfate. So those products will lie to you. They're full of waxes. They're just full of sulfates, silicones, parabens, all of those things that we really don't want in our hair, that dry out our hair, that weigh our hair down. And in the long run, after using those for too long, it actually creates a barrier on your hair. So I don't know if you've ever had the circumstance where you wash your hair and it feels like it's never getting wet, or it dries extremely fast, or it feels like product just sits on top of it and doesn't really absorb into the hair. That's because you've been using low quality products for so long that there is now a barrier of oil and wax over your hair that is going to take a while to get rid of. A lot of deep conditioning, a lot of cleansing, a lot of detoxing and clarifying. All of that stuff is what you're going to need to do to be able to get your curls back to that healthy state where it just absorbs product, it absorbs water, and it's bouncy and fresh and healthy and moisturized and all of that. So the number one tip I can give you when it comes to products is stay away from Walmart and Shoppers Drug Mart, okay? Now, if you're in America, and you go to Target, there are actually some good quality products in Target. Now, we don't have a Target in Canada. I'm in Canada. We only have Walmart and Shoppers Drug Mart. And let me tell y'all, there is no good products in Walmart or Shoppers Drug Mart. Stop using the Shea Moisture. Stop using the Miel. If you're using Miel, cut it out. Cut it out right now, okay? What's that other one that everyone... Mark Anthony, that's another one that all of my clients use. The most popular ones are Shea Moisture. That's like #1, which I find insane. Like, even my wavy hair clients sometimes are using Shea Moisture. And I know you guys know that sweet hibiscus leave-in conditioner that they have that's super thick, that should not be used on wavy hair at all. Yeah, that's what all my clients are using. The second one is Miel. Stop using Miel, y'all. And Mark Anthony. That's like the top 3 drugstore brands that all of my clients use. Now, I'm going to give you some brands, affordable ones, about the same price as Shea Moisture or less, let me tell you, okay, that you can buy that have amazing ingredients, that will work amazing on your hair, and that will have a variety of different products that you can choose from, so that you can choose the best product that you think will go with the needs of your hair. So the brands are Matrix. Matrix is a lovely brand. They have a curl line. Their curl line is called A Curl Can Dream. They have an oil, they have a gel, and they have a curl cream that goes with that. Another brand is Authentic Beauty Concept. Authentic Beauty Concept is a granola brand. I just recently heard this word granola, which means it's a clean brand. It has no sulfates, no silicones, no parabens, nothing. Another brand would be Brand with a Heart. That is a Canadian brand. They are super, super affordable. I don't think any of their products go over $30. And the most expensive one, which is $30, is an oil. The creams and the shampoos and the conditioners and all of that are all around $20. So I think that's very cheap. And you guys have to keep in mind that with these salon quality products, they are going to last you a lot longer than the drugstore products. You will need to use a lot less of the product than you normally would with the drugstore products, okay? I can't stress this enough, because if you use too much product, it won't give you the results that you want. It will do the reverse effect and give you the results that you don't want. So always make sure to use the correct amount of product. Okay, now heading into the fun part. So now I'm going to go into detail on how I'm styling my client's hair. We're going to go into detail on what products I use, how I diffuse, how I fluff the curls, all of that. Step 1, always start with wet hair, y'all. Always start with wet hair. And when I say wet hair, I mean dripping wet. Why do we do this? This is to prevent frizz and to help your hair absorb the products that we're going to be putting in a lot better, okay? This is going to help with definition as well. So always have a spray bottle on hand when you're styling your hair at home, and always make sure that if the section that you're about to do isn't feeling wet enough, soak it down with some water. Now I'm showing you my Denman brush. This is a very common curly styling tool to use when styling your curly hair. If you're styling your curly hair at home alone, I highly suggest investing in this brush, as it'll make things go by a lot faster and a lot easier. So as you can see, I'm just brushing the water through my client's hair with the Denman brush. And that is another tip I want to share with you. Whenever you put a product, even water, into the client's hair, you always have to brush it through before applying another product or adding more water. Because when you're spraying on the water or when you're applying the product with your hand, it's not actually getting everywhere. You have to brush it through to make sure you're getting even distribution throughout all the hair strands, and that every hair strand is submerged in the water and in the product. So the first product I'm going in with is the Curl Custard by Brand with a Heart. This is a brand that I spoke about a few seconds ago. They are a Canadian brand and super affordable. So I'm using about 2 loonie sizes in her whole head of hair for the cream, and that's all I'm going to use this whole time. So as you can see, I'm just raking it through with my fingers from root to tip. I like to do products from root to tip. Some people don't like to put the product on the root. I find that it doesn't affect the results at all. Some people say that it weighs their client's hair down. Maybe that's the case for them, but it's not for me. So as you can see, I'm taking my Denman brush, brushing that cream through. Just like I said, you want to brush each product through the hair once you put it in. So now that we've applied the cream, I'm going to go in with my Matrix A Curl Can Dream Manuka Honey Gel. This is my favorite gel to use. I used about 4 to 6 pumps for her whole head, and I'm also raking that through, applying it root to tip. Now, depending on your hair's condition, it will depend on what type of products you need to use. Usually if my client has a lower porosity, that was what I spoke about earlier, where you kind of have that barrier around your hair, product doesn't seep in, water doesn't seep in, all of that stuff, I tend to use only gels. I'll use maybe 2 or 3 different gels on their hair because that's what they really need, and their hair doesn't absorb cream. But my client's hair right now is super healthy, normal porosity, so I'm going to be using a cream and a gel on her. Now we're going to start defining the curl section by section. So the sections I like to take are just dividing the front from the back. So in total, there's going to be 3 full sections on the head, and I'll show you those. Now that our hair is separated, we can start taking our sections to define the curls. So I'm taking about 1-inch size sections, as you can see, and then twisting the rest of the hair up and pinning it away. And then I'll be taking my Denman brush and I'll start defining the curls with my Denman brush. So what I like to do is I just kind of detangle the section a little bit, and then I'll go from underneath the section and brush over like a rainbow. What this does is it creates a little bump at the root, which will in turn make for more volume with the final look. And I will just be repeating this simple step with the whole head. Now, guys, I know this seems like super easy, like, oh my gosh, is that it? Literally, that is it. Your wash day should not be taking you 2-3 hours. Whenever I see that, I'm like, how is that possible? Like, what are you guys doing in that 2 to 3 hours that is taking so long? All of my clients, no matter what type of curl, it can be 4C, it can be 2A, it can be 3B. I don't care. It's gonna take an hour to style the hair. That's it. 1 hour. 1 hour, that is all, that is it. Sometimes maybe less, but max 1 hour. We should not be spending 3 to 4 hours, 6 hours on our wash days. That's absolutely ridiculous. You guys are wasting your time, okay? So just follow these tips, follow this tutorial, and your wash day will be an hour or less. I promise you. So as you can see, I'm just moving my way up the back of the head, taking those 1-inch sections, brushing from underneath like a rainbow to create the bump at the root, right? And then defining the curls from there. You can add some finger curling in if you want to certain pieces if it doesn't curl the way you want it to. Sometimes with looser textures, we need to do a little bit more finger curling, which is totally okay. In this case, we don't really need to because her curls are just defining on their own. So now we're just moving on to the side sections of the head. Here you'll see me do a little bit more finger curling because this is the front area of the hair. This is what my client's going to see the most. So I want the curls in the front to be extra defined and extra crispy. So I am going to do a little bit of finger curling here, and you can see my technique when I do it. So here I'm just implementing my finger curling technique. It's super easy. It's kind of hard to explain, but all you're really doing is wrapping the hair around your finger until you get to the end of the hair, of the piece, or of the strand, whatever you want to call it, okay? You just keep twirling and twirling and twirling. That's all I can really give the tip for, you know? Like, you just you know, twirl it around your finger, and then you get extra definition, and it's amazing. Now, because my client's hair is super healthy, it doesn't really dry while I'm styling her hair. So I haven't had to re-wet it with any water, but in someone else's case, perhaps, you might have to. So if you notice that the hair is getting drier once you're getting to different sections, spray it down with water. Do not be afraid of water, guys. Water is your best friend when it comes to curly hair and styling curly hair. So always make sure to spray down your section with water if it's feeling dry. Now that our curls are beautifully hydrated, defined, flawless, we can start our diffusing. So when I'm in the salon, I do like to use a hairspray before diffusing my client's hair. I do not suggest this as daily use, as hairspray has aerosol in it, which is very drying. But when you're in the salon, you want your curls to last for days, if not weeks, okay? So that is what we're doing. We're gonna be using a little bit of hairspray. And for the blow dry, I'm going to be doing medium fan, medium heat. So the medium setting for both of those is perfect. Now, when you're blow drying, guys, this is the nitty gritty diffusing details that you wanted. This is what y'all have been waiting for, okay? So when you start diffusing the hair, always point the diffuser downwards. You do not want to blow the hair up yet, as wet frizz is a thing. So the hair is most compromisable when it's wet. It's more prone to frizz when it's wet. So do not blow up the shaft. Blow in the downward direction, or unless you're cupping the ends, you can cup the ends. But usually when I'm starting out, when it's super wet, I just hover the diffuser around. I don't really touch the hair with it, and I just kind of blow it in a downward motion, trying to get the outer layer of the hair dry first. Once I can start to feel the crunch of the outer layer getting dry, I'll start to scrunch the ends with my diffuser, and only the ends. I won't bring it all the way up to the scalp yet. I'll just scrunch the ends. But as you can see right now, I'm just hovering the diffuser around, getting in those layers, not really touching the hair. Now, once the outer layer is starting to feel a little dry, I'm going to start scrunching the roots a little bit. You want to just kind of press the diffuser on your roots slightly. Now, if you're at home, obviously you won't have a chair that reclines back, and you won't have the physical means to reach backwards and blow dry your hair like this, obviously. So in that case, if you're at home styling your hair, flip your hair forward and do this exact method first. And then once you feel that outer cast dry and it feels dry a little bit, you can flip your hair upwards and start going side to side. You don't have to flip your hair backwards. It's not necessary. The reason I do this is for the comfort of me and my clients. This is the most comfortable way for us to do it. And then we will end up flipping her hair forward and upside down. So we will get there at some point, but just because I have this chair is the reason I use it, and it's comfortable for my clients, it's comfortable for me. But if you're at home, obviously you can't do it this way. So flip your hair upside down, do the hovering method, and then you can start flipping your hair side to side. So now, as you can see, I'm starting to scrunch the ends of her hair. The reason I leave this part to kind of last is because the roots and the mids is what takes the longest to dry. The ends take the least amount of time to dry. They'll dry super fast, so I don't really worry about those too much as the roots and the mids. But yeah, so as you can see, I'm starting to just do that scrunch method, scrunching from the ends all the way to the root until the hair is about 80% dry. Now I'm going in with one of my favorite serums by Brown with a Heart. It's the Shea Silk Oil Treatment. It's not really a treatment, it's just a serum, but it smells phenomenal. Like, anytime I scrunch this in my client's hair, they're always asking, what is that? What are you using? Because it just smells so good. So I like to use this when the hair is about 80% dry. The reason for that being is I like to use it as kind of a barrier against my hand and the hair. The oil will kind of soften my hand surface so that I don't create as much frizz when I'm scrunching out the curls. And I like to scrunch out the curls when it's 80% dry because it helps the hair dry faster. When it's in these large clumps, it's going to have a really hard time drying. So I kind of like to separate the clumps slightly and then continue blow drying. Now that our curls are 100% dry, they're ready to be separated and fluffed. Now, this is not a necessary part that you need to do. If you like your curls to be like more crispy, more defined, less volume, then I don't suggest doing this step. But if you're someone who likes to fluff out their curls, doesn't mind a little bit of frizz, likes a lot of volume, then definitely do this step. So as you can see, I'm just taking a section of the hair, separating it from the rest, and I'm taking a little bit more of that oil on my hands, and I'm just going to be separating the curls. Now, when I say separate the curls, I just kind of mean pull on them, kind of separate them where it naturally parts. You don't want to do too much because you will create frizz. So I'm just kind of pulling it apart where I see there's a natural part in the curl. I won't just poke my finger in there and just like start raking it through. You want to be very delicate with this process because this can make or break your style. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind and kind of just look at how healthy and bouncy her curls are. And this is after, like immediately after a bleach session. We used bleach on her hair, we toned her hair, we did all of that. She is preparing to go to a Sexy Red concert. I forgot to mention that. So that's why her hair is kind of like a copperish red. She didn't want like a full red. She wanted like a copperish red. But this is perfect for a Sexy Red concert. It turned out so amazing. But as you can see, her curls are still very healthy and very bouncy and very shiny immediately after bleaching. So that is from the proper care, the proper products, all of that. So all of that goes hand in hand to having beautiful results. And now I am just pulling down my last section to separate and fluff. As you can see, the volume has gotten a lot bigger, a lot better. So that is from the fluffing. And after this, I will actually continue diffusing, because if you want the most volume, you have got to diffuse, okay? Diffuse in different directions, diffuse upside down, sideways, back to back, whatever direction you can put your head in, diffuse it that way if you want a lot of volume. If you don't want a lot of volume, only diffuse in one direction. And I would recommend that direction just standing up straight, looking in the mirror, and diffusing downwards if you want no volume. But if you want a lot of volume, like my client does, we're going to diffuse sideways, upside down, forward, backwards, all of that. Now we're going to shake out the curls. So you just want to stick your hand in your hair and just shake it as much as possible, okay? And make sure you're doing this while your hair is upside down, because if we're shaking it from the inside layer here, when it's upside down, we won't see any of that frizz that we're creating on the top or on the outside layer. So that's why I shake the hair while it's upside down. And you really want to shake out the roots. Like, don't be afraid. All of the product that we use and all of the techniques that we use and the diffusing that we used will help keep the curls intact. You don't have to worry about the curls falling out or getting frizzy or any of that. Now I'm taking my pick and I'm just going to lift the roots with my pick, and this is just going to keep adding and adding to that volume that we're looking to get. Okay, so if you don't want volume, do not do these steps. If you don't want volume, don't fluff out your curls, don't pick out your curls, don't shake out your curls, and don't diffuse in different directions. If you want a lot less volume, your routine is going to be a lot easier. If you want more volume, you're going to have to take a few more steps. And I'm just going to bring that diffuser out one more time to really dry those roots, dry everything, make sure everything is 1010% dry and has the most volume. So now that we have completed all of those steps, we have the most flawless, bouncy curls that you have ever seen in your life. I mean, look at these curls, guys. They are stunning. So if you have any questions, please don't be afraid to leave them in the comments below. I know this was a long tutorial, but I hope that it helped you and it gave you the tips necessary to complete this look at home. And please let me know in the comments as well what you want to see from me next. I really enjoyed doing this tutorial. I hope you guys got a lot of diffusing tips and all of that. So please like this video, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you babes next week. Bye.